with Sharon Katz in Baker Park in Frederick, Maryland. We're here for Nelson Mandela Day, and Sharon Katz will be giving a show later on tonight. So I understand that you knew Nelson Mandela.
I did. Firstly, I'm very happy to be a part of this interview, and I think that what you're doing is a fantastic gesture towards bringing the youth together. And yes, I'm South African. I'm a South African musician, and I met Nelson Mandela in 1994, which was on his 75th birthday, and in South Africa, my first time that I met him. And of course, he had been a mythical hero to all of us, South Africans in particular, but people around the world. And he'd been in prison for those 27 long years. And he was released in 1990, and I was living in Durban, South Africa at the time, and I was just beginning to mount the Peace Train project when I met Mandela. And he was just an incredibly inspirational person to me, to encourage me with my work and to tell me that I must go on, and to say that what I was doing was representing a non-racial democracy for which he had struggled for all of those years. So for me it was incredibly inspirational meeting Mandela. It's affected me for the rest of my life. That was over 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about the Peace Train Project.
The Peace Train Project started in 1992. It was at a time just after Mandela had been released from prison, and there was a civil war going on in South Africa. Different groups had been forced apart by the apartheid regime, and groups were not getting along with each other. Different communities, black communities, Indian communities, biracial communities, and white communities were divided by apartheid. You know, the whites were always put up at the top with the most amount of privileges, and the black majority was by far discriminated against in the most horrific way. And I decided that we needed in South Africa at that time a huge project to unite, particularly the young people, like what you're doing. But what I did was I gathered 500 children together to sing, and I wrote songs in many, many different languages, and English as well, and I composed songs about the change that was beginning to take place in our country. And that production of bringing those 500 children together, that took about 4 or 5 months to mount, because I had to rehearse children in their separate areas, and we finally were able to bring them all together to sing, and that was in 1993, around April, May. And then that end of that year we rented a train and traveled around South Africa with all of these singers, musicians, families, and that was called the Peace Train, because we traveled around South Africa on a train. And we've maintained that name of the project ever since, because everything that we've done all during those years of the transition, because the following year, of course, Mandela was elected to become president of South Africa, but we continued with our mission, you know, all through the years to promote peace and unity through music with the Peace Train.
Great, that's really cool.
And now I'm on my way back to South Africa tomorrow, where we finally, after 20 plus years, we've completed the making of a documentary about this. It's called When Voices Meet. It's going to be, the trailer is going to be shown tonight before our show. And I'm going for the world premiere of the film, which is showing at the Durban International Film Festival next week. So watch out for it. WhenVoicesMeet.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to the website.
Great. I was actually just going to ask you about that.
Okay. Great.
All right, so one last question.
Sure.
So every month, Global Scribes has a word that all of the Global Scribes around the world all write about, either a short story or, you know, just something that it makes them think of. And this month, our word is sunshine. So when you hear the word sunshine, what is the first thing you think of?
The first thing I think of is home, which is South Africa. I know we have sunshine in all different parts of the world, but for me it takes me back to South Africa, where we've got such a lot of sun. And it brings me to the joyful spirit of South Africans who embraced the ending of apartheid. I mean, nobody really wanted to live under that vicious regime. And that liberation liberated everybody in our country. There were many people who were really, really staunch, they just thought that was the only way. But they've changed. They've changed their minds because people need to be brought on board. People need to feel it in their heart what's wrong, and then they can embrace what's correct and what's right. And so that's a symbol of sunshine to me, the type of liberation that Mandela gives to each and every one of us, has given to each and every one of us. That brings sunshine, and that just reminds me of my country.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I'm really looking forward to seeing your show later tonight. It was really great to talk to you.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.